I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm going to try to get this up. My wow, YouTube access and everything has been out, my internet, and my phone was stolen. I found out August the 1st and returned another one that belongs to them. So now this phone I have is listed as computer on their accounts, and they have my phone if they haven't destroyed it, but they cloned mine and gave me this one. I had no idea up until recently, but now then it's gotten pretty rough. So I wanted to put this up today. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41, brought to Moulton, Alabama. JFK was in on my kidnapping along with the Illuminati. And the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers. Joe Kennedy was appointed ambassador to England in 36, the year my father became king. I began to wonder about how my grandfather died, actually, and Roosevelt Franklin managed to send Joe Kennedy ambassador in 36, the same time my father became king. My father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor, school teacher from Madison, Wisconsin, and my father never had anything to do with Wallace Simpson. She married a double. She was an American spy, and there were several doubles. And I wanted to get to this. I'm having a really bad time. TV's been out here the last, I guess, 3 days, and a couple more days maybe. So the only thing I've got is the radio here. So anyway, I was listening to Coast last night in George Norrie's program, and I think Richard Serret is from Toronto, Canada. He's a host up there of several things on conspiracies, etc., etc. And as far as I'm concerned, he's the best they ever had there. He's part-time host on Coast to Coast. Really is knowledgeable and has a lot of guests that are really knowledgeable too, obviously. So last night he had Don Jefferies on as guest. This is last night, Sunday, be Monday morning here. So that would be what, the 16th of 2019. So he wrote about, oddly enough, some of the things I've been telling. But anyway, his book's just come out, and I think the title is Incendiary Conspiracy, Crime and Cover-Up, from 1776 till 63. He's telling, he gets into some of what I was trying to tell about the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and he's telling some things that are true that, like, when I tell it, people don't like to hear it. This man's from America, and he's gone back and he's really done a pretty good job. Oddly enough, he stopped in 63, and that's when JFK was shot. And he and his father were part of my kidnapping and takedown of my father and the horrific life that I lived here. And it concerns mental health. That was not good. JFK was in on with Martin Luther King. And you can imagine me trying to tell something about Martin Luther King and Reverend Andrew Young, who was with him when he was shot. Andrew Young was mayor of Atlanta, and I was in his office, and he would not speak to me. Yet in the condition I was in too, and he knows. He was appointed UN ambassador to South Africa. Well, United States ambassador to the United Nations, which is your front for the Illuminati that came to be. They had to take my father down first to get the illegal treaty signed, and they moved in on the United Kingdom, and it's like moving in on Washington, D.C., you can imagine. So it was very important, South Africa, and a lot has been done to South Africa that I tried to write about years ago in A License to Kill was the name of the book, MD A License to Kill, back in 78, and that's when Larry Flint was shot by a program shooter. That's what you get into here. JFK was shot by a program shooter. So Sirhan shot Robert. The people here, a lot of them take up for JFK. They don't care what he did to me and all to my country. And my God, my mom's Irish American. George O'Keeffe is loved by most people, one of the greatest artists that ever lived. And look how it's been depleted and deleted. My mom and my dad is a double they used today that married Wallace Simpson. And you've got me over here and my two sons, Mark and Scott, heirs after me. And the horrific crimes done in front of everybody. They know it. Not one has been prosecuted. I'm sitting here now, and I can hardly hear because of I have bacterial infection that was never taken care of. Now I've got a bladder that there's some controversy over that because nobody wants. Now that I find out my phone, this one's not my phone, it's a lookalike. So you get into when I went out to Scott Hill retirement, and you can go back. I've got so many videos, but it gets into HUD, which is federal. It gets into a lot of mess that people willingly got into, but if it's never prosecuted, well, it's never prosecuted. Nobody pays for it, but I keep on paying for it. So I'm going to leave it there because that's when this happened, August the 1st. I was coming back from there, and that's when this was put together and planned. So you talk about conspiracies, not just the phone. It gets into a whole mess. So I'm sitting here and really wondering if I ever see my children again, or I have any kind of, I'm 80 years old, for God's sake. So now that I wanted to, and I'm here, this is their phone. It's listed as computer. I turn on my TV and I can't get anything. It's cut off now for supposedly having trouble for the last days and a few more days. So I'm sitting here, and if I turn that on, it comes up source TV and computer. And actually, I had put it together before I saw that, and I can't delete it. But this is what they call a computer, this little cheap phone. My phone was just like this one, though. And I bought it at Walmart back about 3.5 years ago now. So now they know I'm talking on this phone. They know everything goes on it. They know I found out. So I don't know what happens in all this. I have been beaten in every way possible. And they talk about they don't allow you to tell the truth here. Nobody wants to hear it. I've been told that too many times. But I want to get into Julian Assange once. I talked with, or not talk, when I first got on Gmail and years ago and Facebook and then YouTube, I corresponded with his mom on email. And I did with WikiLeaks. Believe you me, you do not want this country to extradite this man, Julian Assange, who is a hero, who's done nothing but tell the truth, just like I have. He knows about me. He's an Aussie. The Australians are British. They were at Lockheed when I was doing this book and going to word processing school there. They were at the Journey's Inn. I'd lived at Moonraker a couple of years prior, 1 year prior. And Journey's Inn was a restaurant there. It was owned by, had been owned by Penthouse Magazine, and at the time it was owned by the Mormon Church out of Utah. And Buddy Darden was the district attorney. So you get in of Cobb County, Marietta, and you get into, he was prosecuting some of the things I was writing about in the book. And then you get the campaign where Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book. And I knew it was done in patterns. These are mind control, where you can cure an illness or create it. It comes from information stolen in the Tesla files back in 30. I did not know that at the time. I knew they were done in patterns. I'd worked for doctors. So I'm flown out to Flint's in 83. And I'm going to stop here. I've told us so much. And I've suffered, and my children, God help, I hope they're alive. And I'm going to mention one thing, and that's all about this. Elvis Presley may be alive. I hope he is. On this trip that I ended up here, I, went back, my apartment was gone, illegally, my bank account, and then I was almost killed April Fool's Day of 80, illegally taken across the state line by Lionel Dempsey, mother of the twins who had been taken by JFK and Company. And I worked for the district attorney, Fred Simpson, Madison County. That's Huntsville, Alabama. So I'm going to leave it there because I come up here in this lot. This is a long way from then and all the things that happened. And there was bits of things that happened. Elvis, his stepmother, that married Vernon, was from Huntsville. But that's not all of it. There's more. I get up here and Elvis's last, I've always said, to me, I think he's dead. I don't know. I hope he's not. I think he was DEA agent, and I live there because I love Elvis Presley and Bob Seger, by the way, and the Rolling Stones, by the way. Thank God for Mick Jagger. Make you happy, you know, when you're down and out and blue. Anyway, I got here. There's so much involved Elvis, and this is where I'm at now. It should be over. Whether it is, I don't know. I may be dead. Maybe that's how it's over. But anyway, I got here, and I'd been here a while, and somebody said Elvis's picture was there by the dining room. Lo and behold, it is, and he looks very good. I saw him in 73 in Atlanta. We did, my husband and I and my sons. By the way, my sons loved him, and I bet this is not going to go up. I can't even get internet access. Anyway, I got a few more minutes on it. So anyway, I'd been staying here a while, and I had never seen the picture. It's kind of there, but you don't notice it when you go through the door there. And he's waving, got his sunglasses, looked really good. But the thing is that he had been to Roanoke before and stayed upstairs here on the second floor. And now he was due to come back to Roanoke, Salem 3 weeks before he died. I'm going to say he died. I hope he's not. I would love it if he walked through the door. I would love to meet him. That's the last place I went to. I stopped when I went to my husband's sister. Thought she had said I could come out there and she'd help me get a job, and she lived in Abilene at the time. She lives in Texas still, but in Austin, outside Austin. Actually, I got out there, going to bring my sons out, because I had a letter from the FBI, ongoing investigation, national security, involved 2 letters. And it was so much happening to us that I thought if I could get out there and listen to this, change my name. I didn't know my name had already been changed. I'd been kidnapped. When I found out, I could remember a whole lot. So I was told, remember, I worked for doctors most of the time. It was bookkeeping in accounting, bookkeeping. I worked for Urban Medical in accounting when it first opened, putting it up on computer or helping and payables and payroll and etc. And dealing with department heads and all this. Now, where am I? Let me get back to, I got out to Texas and I had very little money. I'd call Laura Childers Klein's her name, by the way. She's lived a pretty good life. She was CPA certified, her husband was. So now then, I'm going to put down here where they're from. She's gotten away scot-free. I hate to use the word scot. Yeah. That's a beautiful name, and I don't mean to apply it with her in any way. But anyway, I got out there, and that was a takedown. I got out there, and I just checked with her before I left to make sure it was okay. She's gonna help me find a job, and when I got a job, if I did, move my sons out there. Well, I got out there in Mesquite outside Dallas, called her the next morning, had enough money to stay at the Days Inn. Suddenly, I can't come. I get back to Atlanta, Marietta, and my apartment's gone. It's in my ex-husband's name. And April Fool Day, I was almost killed. I should never have walked away from it. So you can call it what you want to, because that was death when Pearson, what was her first name? Went to Lockheed Marietta, the computer school. That's where I met the Aussies and met two Aussies that were with the Royal Air Force that were there at Moonraker. Thank God for the Aussies. Amen. Julian Assange, I hope to hell this whole mess is told, and oh God, the lies by the Illuminati press. I hope somebody who's in power, and it just about take God to handcuff this media that knows all this. And they've handcuffed Julian Assange and done him. By the way, they've handcuffed me. Made me homeless and all this, and I'm up on the Appalachian Trail trying to live to keep from being raped. Believe it or not, it's safer up there with the snakes and the bears and the whatever, rabid raccoons. That's true. Than it is on the side of the road here. So I'm going to leave it there. This trail leads back to here. I don't know, maybe I die. Maybe it just keeps going till I am dead. But I hope Julian Assange, whatever he's got, I hope he unloads it all over hell's half-acre, and nobody can lie about me, my dad, this crummy hell they've put us in. They've taken everything, and you are locking up the one man who's told the truth. Them and WikiLeaks, by the way. And last night, yeah, I do hope people... I'm not trying to promote... Yeah, I am too. It's by Don Jefferies, and that Richard Serret is from Toronto, and he's co-host on Coast to Coast out of L.A. But the name of the book is Incendiary Crime and Conspiracy, Crime and Cover-Up. It was just published, and it's really tells you a lot that most people don't even want to admit, and it's very thorough, okay?